Okay, let's begin dot hacking section. For anyone who wants to know more about how I will be completing this game, please see part 0 so I don't have to repeat it a million times. Now, having only played the first game, actually I have technically played the second game, but I don't own it, this intro always confuses me a bit.
Der Mann des Schattens, auf der Suche nach dem Abendrachen, ist noch nicht zurückgekommen. Der Herd der Finsternis grollt. Helba, Königin der Finsternis, stellt schließlich ein Heer auf. Alparon, König des Lichts, grüßt sie, und sie treffen sich am Fuße des Regenbogens. Die verfluchte Welle muss gemeinsam bekämpft werden. Der See von Alba brodelt. Der große Baum des Lichts fällt. Alle Macht zerfällt zu Tropfen im Tempel von Arche Köln. Wesen ohne Schatten, ihre Welt zerfällt zu nichts. Der Mann des Schattens auf der Suche nach dem Abenddrachen kehrt niemals mehr zurück.
I think this is meant to be like the backstory of the virtual world we're going to play in, but having watched a lot of dot hack anime and whatnot, it doesn't really play that big of a role.
Okay, user registration is done. Now for a name. Yasuhiko's probably already there waiting for me. I'd better hurry.
Yes, otaku purists, I am going to be playing this game with the English voices. I don't really find them all that annoying, so I don't really see a need to play the game with the Japanese voiceovers. I don't think your username really matters, so I'm just going to go with my username here on YouTube, AetherNightmare. I'm not sure if it's your character name or your username, but I think if you add like certain words into it, you can actually change the difficulty, but I've never really experimented with it before. Yeah, I could use the default kite, but just for fun I'm going to use my name. It'll help me distinguish my save files as well. And for people who are initially confused about this game, the point of the game is that you're playing a game. It's meant to kind of be a MMO, which is a little strange as you're not playing with any other real people. Version update, this just gives you basic information for when you play, like elemental hits and treasure chests and stuff like that. You don't have to read these, you can just click them once and exit out. There's really not a whole lot of point to them, but if you're new, it's probably a good chance that you read them at least once. The servers are basically just different towns, like hubs that you can go to get to other dungeons. I don't really see why they bother giving you all of the root towns in this letter, seeing as you can only access the first 2 in this game. It's also kind of disappointing to go through all this extra backstory and you never ever use it. Like what the names mean, what they're named after. I can see how they're trying to build the world, but there's just no point as you never ever need to know this stuff. Hey, did you finish registering? What kind of character are you? Oh, and like I said at school, you'll regret it if you use a smart-ass name. I'm Orca in the world, so keep that in mind. Don't call me by my real name. You can be a different person when you're there. Well, more like the guy you want to be. Anyway, I'll be at Root Town. But like I said, if you change your name, you can, to add certain keywords, you can change the difficulty. Basically, you'll be stripped of your armor or something every time you leave a dungeon. I really don't want to have to put up with that, so I'm just going to keep things simple. Basically what this is, they supply you with, like, fake news about the, quote, real world around them. December 2007. Wow. Yeah. I kind of wish we'd have gotten this kind of world by 2007, but alas. Highest selling game in history. Someone's got an ego. Neuro goggles. These are basically how people play the game. Not like me, real people. I mean like the characters. Basically wear like a headset and it projects the world as if they're actually seeing it. Not like if you were to play World of Warcraft, but if you were to actually be the character in the game. Which is kind of interesting, seeing as we have actually come close to creating these a couple of times, and I've even seen a few demonstrations at shows like E3. Basically everyone around the globe uses the same internet connection. Seems strange in places like America where everybody has a different type of internet connection. But in places like Japan, it's actually not that common. Actually, everyone does have the same type of internet in Japan, pretty much. I think their government pays for it or something, so it makes it so you can reach the internet from practically everywhere. You even get a board, which for the most part is, again, basically useless. It does give you a few hints, but really this wasn't the best way to do it. There are some points later in the game when the board actually does become necessary, such as when you need to find keywords and whatnot, which it'll explain later. I'm not going to go full out into that yet. But really, I just don't see this as being necessary. And if you want to read this, just pause. I'm not actually going to read all of it out loud. It's just way too much of a hassle. I think this will probably end up taking up to the second video too, so if you want to skip to the second video, go right ahead. I'm probably going to end commentary right here too, just because there's really nothing to talk about besides reading the board.